So if you're wondering, why am I doing this? Okay, why am I making a conversion? Remember last week, I said real GDP is the value of your output in constant prices. You are thinking of how much they cost inherently. Whereas nominal GDP, okay, we have to understand this concept before we can proceed with today's lesson, alright? Nominal GDP is a bit different. Nominal GDP is the value of output in market prices. Or sometimes we call it current prices, okay? Okay? So when we say market prices or current prices, okay, there is a difference, okay? So the difference here is real and nominal. If I give you the simplest example, last week I gave you this example. I said, hey, let's say in 2019, Singapore produces two goods at $2 each. 2020, we also produce the same two goods, okay, at $4 each. Okay, so if you look at what has changed across this period, right, nominal GDP has doubled. You see what happened? When you compute nominal GDP, you bother with what has changed in terms of pricing. But real GDP, you don't care about price. Real GDP is the same. Are we okay with that? Alright, so real and nominal, we need to be very clear. I think I gave you the example of Zimbabwe. I showed you the currency where we had $100 billion, simply to show you that prices, they can increase a lot. But when prices increase a lot, they don't show anything positive about the economy. They are not showing you things like, oh look, people are getting richer because prices are going up. No. Price change is an unwelcome distraction. So we try ways and means to remove the price change. Okay? So one way to convert nominal to real is to do this. Divide by GDP deflator. Well, when you say GDP deflator, normally you can use CPI as a substitute. Alright? CPI is the GPL, just that in Singapore we call it CPI. Are you okay? So you'll see this point in your notes as well. Now, second, so Jedrick, you're talking about inflation rate. Let me show you what inflation rate looks like, okay? You can take nominal GDP growth rate, right? Minus inflation rate. And that gives you real GDP growth rate. I'll explain why. Okay, so like I said, there are three ways to convert. Okay, I've just shown you two ways. Okay, this one you all should have seen it in the notes. This may raise some eyebrows. Okay, so let me explain what we are doing here. If you all do physics, some of you might have heard of this uncertainty thing. But uncertainty is slightly different from this. In econs, if A over B gives you C, it follows that percentage change in A minus percentage change in B gets you percentage change in C. Okay, this is what happens in econs, right? Okay. So this is a mathematical approximation. Okay. So if you look at what we have here, what is A? A is nominal GDP, correct? Thank you. Can you see that? A over B equals to C. A is nominal GDP. So percentage change in A is nominal GDP growth rate. Does that make sense? I'm just converting this to a growth rate concept. So it's nominal GDP growth rate. Is it too fast? Okay. Now, next one. What is C? C is real GDP. So what do? I make use of this mathematical approximation. Percentage change in C is real GDP growth rate. So I convert this into growth rate terms. Okay. Now the third one, the final one. What is your B? B is your GDP deflator, which can be represented using CPI. CPI is the y-axis in your AD and AS diagram. You put GPL over there. So what is percentage change in CPI? Inflation rate. So from here, you get this. This is a growth rate version of this. Okay. Do you need to use this? Yes. Next week, we will start doing a case study practice. You can see that in that case study, you need this formula. If not, you cannot answer a 2-mark question or 1 mark, I can't remember. Okay? So if this is not in your notes, take it down first. Alright? Nominal GDP growth rate minus inflation rate gives you real GDP growth rate. Okay? Yes?
For the second formula, is it mathematically accurate?
This one, when you say uncertainty, it should be a plus, right? And this is an estimation. When you work it out, it will not be exactly the same, but you'll be close enough. Right? Okay? So this is a mathematical approximation. Okay? Alright? When you do interest rates further on in the next topic, you'll learn that nominal interest rate minus inflation rates give you real interest rates as well. So basically, nominal something rate minus inflation rate gives you real something rate. Okay? Okay. So I said there are 3 ways to convert nominal to real. Okay? I've shown you the first one, which is in absolute levels. I showed you the second one, which is in terms of growth rate. Now the third one, the final one. How do you convert nominal to real? You can take, let's say, this year's output based on a previous year's price. Okay? When I say previous year, it doesn't have to be 1 year before, 2 years before, right? It's a previous period. You can choose, up to you. Okay, do you know what we call this previous year? Any idea? Base year, very good. Yes, we call it the base year. So, what have I done in the first 15 minutes? I'll say this is the most important part. The rest of it was recap. This will get us started on today's discussion, which is on standards of living.